Now let's take a closer look at contamination. The ionic contamination test is designed to wash any ionic or electrically conductive contamination off a board and into a test solution. The level of contamination can then be measured by the change in the electrical conductivity of the solution. Contamination on the surface of a board can also be measured by changes in the resistance to the flow of electricity between two adjacent conductors. Insulation resistance is a measure of the ability to keep two signals or electrical currents apart. Every time a bare hand touches the surface of a board, invisible oils and salts are left behind. And if these contaminants happen to bridge across two conductive lands or traces, the insulation resistance between them will be reduced. As the resistance value decreases, the electrical flow or noise between the conductors increases. If an electrical pulse bleeds over to an adjacent conductor, it can affect the electrical performance of the system. Initially, you may even be able to see the contamination left by a fresh fingerprint. This will eventually dry up and leave an invisible residue of salts or chlorides, just like the fingerprints the police might take off a doorknob. And as these dried salts absorb moisture from the air, they can become electrically conductive, causing corrosion and electrical short circuits. Here's an example of the growth of dendrites or spikes between two conductors carrying different electrical charges. A drop of water on a contaminated area provides the ideal conditions for dendritic growth. Clean gloves or finger cots can help reduce contamination. But wearing cotton or nylon gloves doesn't mean you can safely touch the surface of the boards, since oils and salts will seep through the fabric. Handling the boards only by the edges is the best protection against potential contamination, especially prior to soldering. In some cases, it can be difficult to hold a board by the edges. When it's just not possible, then it's okay to pinch the corners in a spot where there is no circuitry to contaminate. But you definitely don't want to use your palms to support a board. It's always best to handle the board by the edges whenever possible,